Hey guys, Hit the Geek here, back with another video. It's been a little while. Uh, Still playtesting deck ideas for Star Wars Unlimited, leading up to the regional that's going to be in a few weeks, which I believe is the end of September or close to it. I'm already pre-registered for that event, and will more than likely be there. This is a little bit of an update video on not just the regional and the tournaments, but also the format and the meta. There's actually gonna be like a banlist announcement tomorrow or something, or at least sometime this week, where we may or may not see Force Throw banned after all. But mainly with my video is the meta update that Sabine in general, she's just not doing well right now. Unironically, she looks like she's getting pushed out of the format even before rotation officially happens, but she is not as well as she should be, or not as high up as she was in the past. Deck is still good. The deck is still top in events, but it's a huge uphill struggle. Even with what I've noticed playing the deck, granted I've been playing Sabine Yellow. I play both of these variants, a vehicle variant and then a more baseline traditional Sabine deck with the rebel stuff. It's been an uphill battle. Like, I did manage to get third place at a store championships, but it was still like rough. Certain decks were just like 0-2 loss, and it like wasn't even close. 0-2 loss to Kylo Ren, but that's kind of expected. But 0-2 loss to Yoda, a deck where you should have a good matchup against, but still lost. Boba Fett, Pilot One is an uphill battle. So many decks and matchups are just a slog and a struggle with Sabine right now. Especially Sabine Yellow, that's the only variant I've been playing. Sabine Blue is basically dead unless this variant gets an attack pump in blue. Yellow still exists because of the attack pumps, because it has so many attack pumps. But even the yellow build is rough. I can actually go into... we're going to ignore the vehicle variant. It just didn't work out. Too much inconsistency with the one cost in the vehicles. But this was I guess the last current variant I was working on or playtesting. Even still, it was kind of rough. This isn't like card for card exactly. But you had to draw like perfectly well to have a chance at winning a lot of matchups. You had to have turn 1 Sabine Wren ground unit or A-Wing. Then you needed to have the following turn you needed to have the fleet lieutenant or the wing leader to boost it, assuming your turn 1 unit didn't die. And if it died, you were just kind of dead in the water at that point, because obviously we're still in the turn 1 play matters format, where if you get skunked on your turn 1, you're basically just out of the game at that point. And even the 2-1 cost turn 1 wasn't really working sufficiently enough, because you're just losing so much damage output that you just fall behind. And because you don't really play high cost units, you don't really have a late game. You only really have an early game and a mid game. And your mid game is just to close out the game by like turn 5 or turn 6, definitely before turn 7. And if you can't, you're probably just not going to win when the opponent starts dropping high cost stuff that just kills you. Thanks to going around online looking at different builds, playtesting among other things, was literally just trying to find something for this this build that would work. and unfortunately I just wasn't able to find anything. Excuse me. Um, Inevitably, I found out about a different deck, which I'm calling Pilot Sabine, which is basically Kazuda. Um, this is a list very similar to a lot of the people running that are playing Kazuda currently. Um, he's basically Sabine in pilot form. Um, this list I kind of got for playtesting purposes. This definitely seems like a list that will carry on not only through the next set but through rotation, at least for a little bit, as the premier aggro deck or the baseline aggro deck moving forward. Even after Sabine rotates out and can't get played anymore, I will probably be playing Kazuda from now on. I played this deck yesterday at Store Championship. Almost went completely undefeated, but lost a few games here and there. But they were to like very, very teched out sideboards in other decks. That's what I lost to. I was just playing this build and not having played before. I played Kazuda before and was interested in him, but went back to Sabine because I just felt like I didn't have the optimal build of Kazuda to actually get a good feel for the deck. But now that I do, I feel like, okay, this is a build that can work and move forward, and it's very much Sabine yellow, just in a slightly different form. With this list, you're not doing rebel support or the rebel package. You're just basically just swinging with big ships boosted by either heroic sacrifice or trench run to get in just huge chunks of damage, and then you're just closing out the game with whatever you can. And also you have your turn 4 pilot flip that can boost any of your units to like preferably 6 or even 7 damage as well. So it's like you're really closing out the game within like 4 or 5 attacks max, which is kind of crazy because you big issues with Sabine was that she needs units on board for the rebel package to work, and if your units die, then she can't do that. Now in Star Wars Limited, you do need units on the board in general to just win the game, but with Kazuda, you don't need units to stay on the board for several turns. You can start with 0 units and then just make a big push because you have Kazuda's ability with Trench Run or Heroic Sacrifice to just push for huge chunks of damage with just 1 unit. Especially for, the one that enters ready, like, the Millennium Falcon. But even be able to play, any of these weenies, and if they live for a turn, they get to ready up and you can swing. And it's just like, yeah, that Trench Run kind of makes this deck work as a Heroic Sacrifice, because you also get a draw off of it. So it replaces itself. And I didn't think the deck would be strong enough with just that, but it is, and it works very, very well, and I'm kind of impressed by this list of this build. There's definitely room for improvement, especially in the sideboard. It could possibly even use maybe a few more attack pumps here and there, because you're only running the 6, you're not running anything else. And obviously with Sabine Yellow, you had the attack pumps, plus you had, the rebel support. So you had, Wing Leader and Fleet Lieutenant. With this build, you don't really have that. You just have your leader flip as like an attack pump, quote unquote. And that's kind of all you get. So I definitely want to add something else into the list, especially before the regional coming up. I feel very confident in this build of this list. It's something I'm going to work on moving forward. And like I said, this may even become my new main deck, and Sabine just rides off into the sunset forever. But everything in the list just kind of works. As I mentioned, like, other than messing with some of the ratios, maybe a couple more attack pumps, I think this list can definitely do some damage, and it works. Like, The biggest strength is also the biggest weakness, which is the trench run. I noticed that the games that I did lose were the games where I didn't see a trench run or heroic sacrifice, or my leader flip kind of basically got skunked, like they had some type of upgrade. Hey, as soon as I flipped onto a ship, they just killed them right away, which is a downside to a pilot flip leader, but also is just like you kind of have to be mindful of that, because that is a huge chunk of damage that you're missing out on if your leader just dies, which I learned that with Sabine Yellow. If it was possible to just not if the opponent's trying to just scout Sabine, just not flipping her out on the turn 4 and just saving her and making the opponent, you know, just wait and not being able to, not letting the opponent satisfaction of just killing her. But like her damage output, even if it's just, you know, her base form, even though she usually just dies for 3 damage, it's still a chunk of damage you're missing out on. That usually is the deal breaker for the game. So not flipping her out is actually hurts you more than just, you know, just letting her flip and then letting the opponent kill her, basically. So they're always going to try to just scout that and just kill your leader to try to do a thing. But yeah, definitely gonna try playing this list in the future. You will probably see me talk about this deck more after I refine this list with my own ideas a bit further than where I'm currently at. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.